Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Sabrina and today I am back with another low calorie, high protein Ninja Creami ice cream recipe. And this one is also perfect for fall. I have a pumpkin spice recipe too, but today we're going to be doing an apple pie Ninja Creami and this one is so good. So let's go ahead and get into the recipe, but before we do, if you enjoy this video, please feel free to give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and let's get started. So the stats on this Ninja Creami are incredible. It is about 235 calories and 35 grams of protein, which is just kind of my favorite way to get a huge hit of protein, eating an entire tub of ice cream. The ingredients here are also going to be really straightforward. We don't have too many, which I always like. We're going to be using this protein powder from PE Science, and it is the apple pie flavor. I've said it before, I love PE Science, and I think they do a really nice job with their fall flavors as well. But you could use any flavor you like, and instead just make sure you add a lot of cinnamon, maybe some nutmeg, and try to replicate some of those apple pie flavors. You will also need your milk of choice. I'm going to be using Fairlife milk. I think this is a great milk because it's ultra pasteurized, which means you get more protein per serving and it also tastes really good. So for 1 cup, it's going to be 80 calories and 13 grams of protein, which is really excellent. This is the skim milk. I also use the 2% sometimes. This is just what I have on hand. One ingredient that you might be a little skeptical about, but it really works, is cottage cheese. So I'm using this cottage cheese from Target. It's their Market Pantry brand. It's low-fat cottage cheese. I will be using 1/4 cup. And what it does is really add a lot of smooth, creamy texture to your ice cream, and you cannot tell it's in there. So I always recommend using this. If you really can't stomach the idea of putting cottage cheese in your creamy, you can always use some sugar-free, fat-free pudding mix, and that will work as a substitution, but I really like using the cottage cheese. So you've seen with other creamy recipes I've done a strawberry one and a blueberry ice cream one that is so good. I really like to use fresh fruit. And so what I've done here is I've cut up about 1/3 cup of an apple, and then I put it in a saucepan with 1/2 cup of water, a little bit of cinnamon, and a little bit of this Truvia Complete brown sugar. And then I basically just cooked it until all of the water disintegrated. And we have a little bit of a sauce here as well, and it also smells amazing. But I'm going to be putting these cooked sort of stewed apples right into the creamy, and it's going to work a treat. It really gives it that nice apple flavor. And then finally, last ingredient is just some cinnamon. There's some cinnamon in here, there's some cinnamon in the apples, but I'll probably just put a little extra dab in. So by now you guys know I always use my scale for everything, but if you have measuring cups, we're just going to do 1 cup of the Fairlife milk, which is 240 mils. And then what I like to do next is add my protein powder. And I do this on purpose so I can then whiz this up with a frother, and I find that's the easiest way. I'm going to be using 21 grams, which is a very specific amount. So you could use 20 grams or about 2/3 of a scoop if you like. You could use a whole scoop if you wanted. It's not going to make too much of a difference there, but I'm using 21 because that's going to get me to 35 grams of protein in this creamy, which was my target. But again, you can use a little bit less or a little bit more. So I've got the protein powder in there. It smells really good. And what I like to do at this point is just take a handheld frother and give it a whiz. Now that I've mixed up all of the liquid ingredients, I'm going to add some of the more solid ingredients, the cottage cheese and the apples. And for the cottage cheese, I'm going to do 1/4 cup, which is roughly 55 grams. And now I'm just going to add in my apples. So say you don't want to cook your apples or you're looking for an easier solution, you can buy apple pie filling in the store. And I think there's probably even some sugar-free varieties, but this was so easy and I couldn't find it. So I did this instead. This would also make a great topping to the creamy itself or to overnight oats with this kind of flavor. So I recommend you try it. It's so easy. Just brown sugar, cinnamon, and cook up your apples. So at this point, I'm just going to add a little extra cinnamon to give it a little extra spice. And since I now have the chunky ingredients in there, all I'm going to do is give it a stir. And there we have it, just a couple simple ingredients. This is so quick to put together. Again, if you have this protein powder, it's gonna make it even more delicious, but if you don't, you could totally incorporate all the flavors with your apples. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the freezer, and I will see you tomorrow when we actually mix it up. Okay, we are back. The creamy is all frozen, and one of the tips I actually got from you guys is that I should let it sit on the counter for 10 to 15 minutes before you go ahead and spin it, and that's going to make it a little easier and a little faster. So I've done that, and now we're going to go ahead and give it a spin on light ice cream. All right, so this is what it is looking like after one spin. You can see it's very powdery. That's totally normal. You can just add a dash of milk, and then I usually like to scrape down the edges a little bit, and then just keep re-spinning it until you get the texture you're looking for. Okay, it has just come out, and this is the texture that I love. It is so smooth and creamy, and so it is perfect. And I'm going to add a mix into this. Some ideas I have are anything that's going to remind you of apple pie. And so to me, this golden Oreo is going to do the trick. So I'm going to add that in as a mix-in. And then if you guys know, I make all my recipes for just one person. So this apple pie creamy is going to have 224 calories, 1.5 grams of fat, 17.8 carbs, and 35.5 grams of protein, which is insane. And if you did go ahead and add the Oreo, that's going to add 55 calories. So you still get a huge tub of ice cream for under 300 calories and 35 grams of protein. All right, so here it is in all its glory. I just wanted to show you this beautiful shot, and then I'll show you the texture of it. So yeah, that's absolutely gorgeous, and I really, really like this recipe. I probably like it better than the pumpkin one. I feel like the flavor of this one is just on point and tastes delicious when you add in any of your mix-ins as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and I have waited long enough. I'm gonna get into this creamy. Thanks, guys.